listening to Fountain of Thought with your hosts, Dennis Fountain and Sunny Rain. One small step for man, one giant leap for America.
This show contains adult themes and language. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome once again, everyone, to the Fountain of Thought podcast, broadcasting from the Erickson Memorial Studios. This is the podcast where we talk about everything and anything, or anything and everything. Leave us a voicemail on our listener line at 413-612-8037. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at TalkFOT, or visit our website at fountainofthought.com. Welcome, Sonny. How are you doing today?
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly.
Speaking of dilly dilly, have you noticed who the wizard is on those commercials? Do you know who he is?
No.
Next time, look at him. You know who he is.
The wizard?
The wizard. The guy who turns everything into, bottles of Bud Light. Do you know who he is?
No.
He is Master Pratek from Stargate, SG-1.
No shit.
Yeah, it's him.
Wow.
Dilly dilly. Yeah.
Remember, speaking of Stargate, the chick there, Amanda?
Yeah, Amanda Tapping.
Okay, Amanda Tapping. Remember her father?
Yeah.
Have you seen that stupid commercial for insurance where he's driving his wife and...
No.
Oh, God. It is the most annoying thing in the world.
What insurance company is it? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't know, but
No?
it's just so... And you have to watch daytime television, I guess.
No, I haven't
see
seen it.
But, it is so annoying.
Yeah, I liked him. He was a guest on lots of shows in the 70s and 80s. Carmine. He was always on lots of. I liked him. He was a good guy.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about my top 10 predictions, and you were ill for that episode. So we're going to revisit that because A, you were ill for it, but B, we've had some comments come through on social media about it.
Really?
So so I thought we would revisit that and we get your input, and then I have a couple more things that I want to add. So I did the top 10, and I didn't do it in any particular order. I didn't rate them or anything, just the top 10. What are your thoughts on those? And I'll go over them really briefly, and then we'll add some new ones at the end. Cord cutting will continue to pick up the pace as millions begin to sever their lines between cable and satellite providers.
Say that again?
Cord cutting.
Oh, cord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that people are going to switch from no cords, and that they're going to get their signals through the air. Their Wi-Fi signals will be through the air, and I predict this by 2023. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree?
I agree.
All right. I think so. It's going to happen. It has to happen. You look at all of them, all the big guys, they're all in it.
Everything is going cordless.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that cordless, along the same lines as I talked about battery performance.
Have you seen the thickness of the phone book? It's like this thin.
Yeah. Well, who looks in a phone book these days?
Well, that and the fact that people are getting rid of their landlines.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I went for 7 years, I tried to get rid of the landline. I finally convinced my wife to let me get rid of it, but they're useless. They're absolutely useless. So along those lines about, everything's, cordless these days, I said that battery performance is going to increase significantly, and that that we're going to get 3 times the storage capacity of our batteries, and that's going to help increase cordless devices. So that to me, that's a no-brainer. I think that's going to happen. What do you think about this one? This one, I got the most hits per se on social media. They talked about this the most, that a CGI video is going to be used as a hoax or to politically motivate a group of people, and we will no longer trust what we see and hear as a criteria for something's authenticity. So in other words, if you look at movies like Star Wars, where Princess Leia is digitally recreated, or you look at the Fast and Furious, the Fast and the Furious.
The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
Starring Meow and Angel.
Where they can, or look at any of the Marvel ones, like Ant-Man. You saw Ant-Man, right?
No, I saw half of it.
Okay. Well, you remember in the beginning they show a young Michael Douglas. They show a young Michael Douglas. He's digitally recreated. They've done this, on all kinds of things. And you look at those movies, and they're pretty much flawless, that you can't tell. Or the latest Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they recreated from the 70s. What's his face? He looks exactly like he did in the 70s. So it's you can recreate people now. So my envision is that, and I'm thinking this is going to be geared to Donald Trump. Why not? But I'm thinking that somebody's going to make a video showing Donald Trump doing something that never happened. It's fake news, but it's going to be him looking and speaking like Donald Trump, and people are going to believe it because they see a video and it's on the news.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well, no, but do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that a hoax of that perpetude, kind of like going back to the days of H.G. Wells and what's his face?
Yeah, but if you do something like that you have to be accountable for it.
No, that's what I'm saying is you could release this, and no one's going to be able to. The FBI can't even crack a freaking iPhone. Who are we kidding? They can't even find emails. I mean, they're such a joke. Somebody's going to release something, and it's going to. And my guess is it's going to be politically motivated, but it could be anything. That something is going to come out, and we can so perfectly recreate people and things now that it will be completely digitized, not real, and we're going to believe it. And that's my point, is that now we have to go to different steps, that we'll have to come up with something else to authenticate something, because looking and listening isn't going to be enough.
No.
Because they can fake it so well nowadays.
Technology is going to it's going to be the end of our world.
Technology is going to end us?
Yes, eventually.
Like, again, we say numerous times in this show, like Idiocracy, that it's just going to be...
No, not like Terminator. It's just...
Idiocracy.
We're just... Yes, I know. But we're getting so advanced, so fast, and so quick that eventually it's just going to crash. And when it crashes, there's not going to be anybody that knows how to do anything that we used to know how to do in
like
the 70s.
Idiocracy. Yeah. Well, that leads right into my next thing, is that computers are going to begin to sense our buying habits in real time and suggest items for us to purchase. And right now, Amazon has what they're calling Amazon Marts. You walk into these stores, and they have cameras and computers that see everything. There are no clerks. There's no registers. You walk in, you can put it in your pocket and walk out the door with it, and they bill you. It goes on your credit card. They zap your credit card.
No shit.
I mean, there's nothing. You just walk down any aisle, pick whatever you want, walk out the store with it. You don't have to stop at a clerk. You can get a basket, fill up your basket full of stuff, and just walk out to your car with it. Because the cameras and computers are so good these days that they can identify everything. And I also think it's going to be, and you've seen it in all kinds of movies, where you're walking down the cereal aisle, and it goes, "Hey, Mr. Rain, you bought cornflakes last week. Would you like to buy some Life cereal?" It's going to know what you purchased. It's going to keep a record of what you purchased. That's one of my predictions by 2020. Not too far away. 2 years, and I see that happening.
It's like Back to the Future, too. Like
right.
Last week when we did the soundbite, welcome to Sitco and blah, blah, blah,
I think that's going to be a next logical step. I think they were right in that. And also along those same lines, these personal assistants such as Alexa, Siri, and Google, these are becoming so advanced that by 2028, I predict the first sentient computer, that computers are going to be alive, that they're going to be real, think on their own. Independent of programming, they'll be sentient.
That's scary.
Yeah. I think. And that's pushing it. It may not happen by 2028. I had a 10-year limit. It was 10, top 10 in 10 years, so I did 2028. But I'm thinking it's going to be close. They're really, really getting close where they can start to think on their own. So I don't know where that's going to go, but
that's going to go to Terminator.
That would be a Terminator-esque type of future. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right. This other one is the next on the list that got the most queries from social media. That new foods and flavors of common food items through genetics and chemical manipulation will be introduced, making it possible for food to taste differently. So in other words, you can take an apple that's good for you, make it taste like a jelly donut. So that they can alter the way food tastes. So people will eat more healthy by putting genetically altered substances and chemicals into it to make it taste differently. So, how you don't want to eat your spinach, well, now your spinach can taste like banana cream pie.
We grew up thinking that life was going to be like Star Trek, where, eventually we're just going to go explore space, and now we're looking at a future that's just, it's just dismal.
I don't know. I think Star Trek is. I think it's possible. I think that type of thing is possible, but I think that's generation upon generation upon generations away. It's going to take a long time for us as a world. First of all, we have to become a world in order for that to happen. Right now, we're still countries. You have to become a world in order for Star Trek to happen.
Well, that's never going to happen.
But it'll happen. It's just going to take a long time. Take a very long time. But look at like Star Trek. You brought it up. The food cubes. It just created food. Star Trek had it. They had these little food cubes. Remember, they were orange and green and yellow, and they tasted like a steak. I think that's
true.
I think that's going to happen in the future. All right, so you kind of leaned in. It's like you're reading my mind again. You leaned into the next prediction of mine.
No, you're always in my head.
No, I did this first, so you're in mine. New evidence is going to be introduced that will take us one step closer to verifying intelligent life other than here on Earth by 2019. And on the same topic, China is going to develop the first habitat for man on Moon by 2028.
Habitat?
So they're going to live on the Moon. I think China, when you're talking about Star Trek and space exploration, I think China is going to be at the forefront of this.
Well, if anybody should, it should be them, because they got such an overpopulation.
They're overpopulated, and they're doing it. China has a huge space force that the United States doesn't. We've fallen behind. We don't have the space shuttle anymore. We don't do anything. We have the International Space Station.
Because all we do is argue between Democrats and Republicans. That's it. We don't do shit. All we do is argue.
Well, I mean, I think that China's going to be the one to explore these things. And in their exploration, they're going to be the first. They're going to be the pioneers.
Well, remember Serenity?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And everybody spoke Chinese?
Yeah, China took over. There you go. You're right. Yeah. So, but
it wasn't Serenity. What the hell?
Well, that was the movie. Firefly was the series.
Firefly, yeah.
Yeah, but Serenity was the movie. Yeah.
But that was exactly what they predicted. They predicted that China was just going to overrun the entire world with technology, take over everything, and the common language was going to be Chinese.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think we're on that way. We are very much on that way. All right, and this
it's a good thing I like Chinese food.
Yeah. The last one on my list we've talked about a lot on this show. But I think movie theaters are going to be gone by the wayside. I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think those are going to go, or they're going to morph into something different, because I believe that by 2030, movies are going to change, where holograms and virtual reality is going to be the thing, and 2-dimensional movies or even 3-dimensional movies aren't going to do it anymore. It's going to be holograms, virtual reality, and I think that's going to become such a personal space that you're going to not have the need for a giant movie theater. That's my prediction.
Well, when you can buy a 70-inch TV and put it in your living room, why do you need to go to the movie theater?
Yeah, and you sit in front of it, and it's almost scale-wise, it's almost the same ratio as some of these movie theaters. And if you
set it up with the surround sound and everything,
privacy of your own home, eat and drink what you want, pause it, do whatever you want, fast forward, rewind.
You got to take a wee-wee. You get
If you're going to strip your pee-pee doll and squirt some stuff out, you can take a break. Remember last week's pee-pee doll?
Yeah. What? Why do you keep talking about that pee-pee doll?
I don't know. Pee-pee doll.
Do you want one for Christmas?
Could you get me a pee-pee doll, please?
Yeah.
You think? I like a pee-pee doll.
I'll see if I can order you one.
So last week, those are some of the things that I talked about, and they created a little bit of a buzz on social media. So I thought I'd bring those up, and I wanted to get your opinion. And we're pretty much at the same thought process. But I've had some new ones since then, and my new one is that malls as we know it are going to cease to exist.
Well, of course they are.
And what you're seeing now is all of these big anchor stores are leaving. The stores in between, you get some specialty stores that are still hanging around, but most of them are leaving. And I think what you're going to find happen is that malls are going to be strictly now entertainment, dining, and grocery. That's going to be my prediction. So in other words, you'll have like a gymnasium, a fitness center or something. You'll have that. These big gyms will be going in there. They need lots of room, so they're going to take up some of those anchors. Grocery stores, despite all of this stuff about Amazon delivering and next day and all of this stuff, the majority of people still go out. The vast majority of people still go out and do grocery shopping. It's not delivered to your home. So I think grocery stores are going to do that. I think any type of entertainment, like a bowling alley, things that we think of when we go somewhere, a bar, restaurants. I think that's what's going to comprise malls of the future. I don't think you're going to see stores in them anymore. I think those are going to go. And for a short time, movie theaters, and like I said, they may morph into a hologram theater or something. Who knows? Separate little rooms, like in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Quark had his holo suites.
Yeah,
something of that nature, perhaps. But that's my prediction for the future with malls. And on that same line, I think you're going to see probably within 5 years, Sears and Kmart completely disappear. I think they're going to go.
Oh, definitely.
They're in so much trouble that I just can't foresee them lasting 5 more years. Kmart continually, every year, it's a yearly thing now. They're closing more and more stores, and they just can't find a handle on it. They just can't. So I think they're going to go. My other prediction of stores that's going to go is, believe it or not, I think Starbucks. I think Starbucks is going to cease to exist. I'm going to give that a little more time because they've got a bigger footprint, but I'm going to give them I'll give them 10 years, and Starbucks is going to go. They've reached a plateau right now. They're not gaining any new customers. For almost 2 straight years, their numbers have stayed the same. They've not gained new customers. They're using the same customers. Their revenue has increased only because they've increased the price of their goods. So their cup of coffee now, instead of costing $4, costs $6 or whatever it is. I have no idea. I don't go there. I don't like their coffee. But that's how they're staying in business, and that's a bad sign. When companies have to stay in business by raising their prices, that's a bad sign.
That's a very bad sign.
I will say the only successful part of Starbucks is they've opened up in China, I believe, of all places. I believe it's China. I'm pretty sure it's China. It could be Japan, but I think it's China. And they've opened up this gourmet shop that it's really, really huge, and they have all this really expensive gourmet coffee. And that's actually a money-making endeavor for them right now, but I think once it gets past its initial newness, I think that's going to go by the wayside. So those are my predictions as far as store goes. Kmart, Sears, and Starbucks, they're going to cease to exist.
Well, it's the same thing that happened to Westover Shoe Repair. They kept raising their prices, all the time. And next thing you know, people are saying, I'm not paying $55 to fix my shoes.
Yeah, I know. When you can go and buy a new pair for $25, why bother?
And then, not to mention, the owner would throw shoes at the customers.
Yeah. Screw you! Customer is always wrong. I remember the only time that ever I never threw anything. One time, this guy came in.
I remember that.
And I'm going to give the audience a little bit of an education. In the olden days, when you used to repair a shoes and you put heels on them, the rubber heel had washers inside them. So you would put a nail in. The nail had a head. They'd have holes in the rubber, a little small, very small, enough for a nail head to go through. And you would hammer that through, and the washer inside that rubber heel would hold the nail in place, and the nail would hold the heel to the sole of the shoe. That's how you did it, because you didn't have machines to do it. Well, modern, and I say modern because it probably happened last 60 years, you had machines that could take a wire off of a spindle and create a nail out of that and put that into the core of a heel and nail it on. The advantage to that is, A, it's quicker, and B, you don't see any of the nails. So you could put a nail in a shoe and not know it had nails in it because it's hidden, it's recessed, like you would countersink a nail.
Correct.
And this guy came in, and he was obviously old school, and he was yelling at me, swearing at me up and down that I didn't nail his heel on, that I didn't nail it, it was going to fall off, and he just would not leave me alone. And I guess I had a really bad day, so I took these shoe pliers and I peeled it off. And of course, when you do that, all the nails are still stuck in the heel. And I peeled it off, and I go, there's your effing nails. And I threw them back at him. I said, go take them somewhere else. And out the door he went. But guy irked me. He just rubbed me the wrong way. He must have had a bad day.
No, but the best story was the bouncer. I was working at a nightclub up the street from your place, and the bouncer up there fell in love with those gator boots.
Oh, yeah.
And they had been there, for 12 years
Yeah,
or
been there
something?
for a while.
Yeah. And he says, can I buy them? And you said, yeah, no problem. Just whatever the repair bill is.
Yeah, they're yours.
Yeah, they're yours. And the guy the very next day comes in looking for us.
Yeah.
I'm like, how would that even possibly happen?
Yeah, it never happens. Never happens. So, yeah. So, what do you think is going to go by the wayside in the next 10 years? What do you think is going to cease to exist or stop being around? I have another thing that I think is, and I've mentioned this before on the show. I think Twitter. Twitter's going to go. Facebook will stick around, but Twitter goes. Snapchat might stick around a little bit, but Twitter's the big one. I think that's going to go.
I don't know much about Twitter, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But my prediction, I don't know. It's just scary. It really is. It's moving too fast.
Technology, you mean, is moving too fast?
Yeah, everything's just moving too fast.
Well, think about it. I mean, I remember when my grandparents were alive, and even back then, and I talked to them, they were alive when planes didn't fly, when we didn't have cars, they didn't have microwaves, they didn't have
TVs.
Things. Yeah, they were alive and saw so many changes, industrial-wise, and things of that nature.
My parents were born in 1923 and 1929, and they saw all this stuff, TVs and everything come alive. But even when I was born, VCRs came out. How long did we have VCRs? We had VCRs for years and years. We were collecting VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, DVD came out, and it wasn't that popular at first. And then it took off, and once it took off, boom! It was like wham!
Yeah,
everything went crazy.
I remember music for CDs when I was DJing that I didn't buy any, and I was waiting to find which way technology was going to go. And then eventually, I what got me to go for the first thing is I had one of those. Remember when you used to buy a stereo with components? You had your mixer and your AM and FM tuner and your turntable, and and I don't know. I probably spent $2,000 on that, and I bought a really nice one that had a CD deck in it, and that was the first time. Then I started buying CDs. But you're right, things just changed so much. Telephones and TVs, and
just as soon as you try to get acclimated to one particular electronic, bam, there's something new.
There you go. I've had this discussion with you. We went from VHS to DVDs and to Blu-ray, which I didn't think was going to win. I was always thought HD DVD would win out, but it didn't. Blu-ray won. And I'm trying to get you to stop that and go to streaming, digital, because that's where we're at now. That's the future. DVDs are a waste. They're gone. And that's what happens. It's so quickly that now you get about 10 years out of a piece of technology and it's gone. Computers are the same way. I remember, the first computers that I used to build, they were $2,000-$3,000. And I mean, you can still get a computer for $2,000-$3,000, but you're buying some really high end crap in it. But I mean, just the average computer was, $2,500. Now you can get it for $300. I can buy a new computer for $150. I mean, it's getting to the point of, that's TVs. They break, throw them away, buy a new one. You don't fix them anymore. Where's your TV repairman? You got a guy down the street over here who fixes things. He's going out of business. Yeah, exactly.
He already closed
up.
Oh,
he's already closed? Yeah. Yeah. Nobody does that anymore. Like shoe repair. Nobody fixes anything anymore. Nothing gets fixed. A mechanic. All right. They're still around because cars cost tens of thousands of dollars. But everything else, the prices come down so much that it doesn't matter anymore. If it's broken, throw it out, buy a new one. That's our society today. It's a throw-out society. We talked about this at the last podcast, I think, that, everyone, they're all in a hurry. They want it in, 5 minutes or less. Their lunch, they want it, that's why McDonald's and Wendy's and all these fast food places do so well. People don't want to wait. They don't sit down and relax anymore and have a meal. They got to get it fast. And if something breaks, throw it away, buy a new one. What the freak do I care? Why do I want to fix it? It doesn't matter what it is, from shoes to TVs to anything. Throw it away. Buy a new one.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I will tell you that when I was a governor for the Lions for the state of Massachusetts, we would go out periodically with our fellow governors, and we'd go and we sit down. And one of my governor's friends was Italian, and straight from Italy. And to him, dinner was a big activity. It was a big event. You sat down for dinner, and your dinner would last 2-3 hours because you took your courses slow.
It was a social event.
Exactly. And that, to him, that was dinner. And it was nowadays, never mind, a dinner lasting 2 or 3 hours. Who sits down for dinner at the table? It doesn't happen anymore.
No, you got a hamburger in your right hand and the steering wheel in the left hand.
Yep. So we're changing, folks, and like everything else, it may not necessarily be for the best. But,
nope.
But we are.
I don't think so.
Yeah. All right. Any final thoughts on predictions for the future?
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. What you got? That's your prediction for the future?
Yeah, it's all full of shit.
All right, folks, we're going to be right back after I fly like an eagle and let my spirit carry me.
What is recycling? Recycling helps save the environment. Without recycling, we wouldn't be where we are today. Our world would be full of pollution in the air and things that would not make the earth a pleasant place to live. Reusing products that can be recycled helps keep a clean environment. It takes 95% less energy to recycle aluminum than it does to make it from raw materials. It is very important to keep our world a healthy place, so benefit that blue bin.
Wit and charm DJs Dennis and Sonny have. FountainOfThought.com, website you go. Episodes new every Friday at 7.
All right.
Dilly.
Dilly dilly. Welcome back, everyone. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor or advertising on our show, drop us an email at talkfot, and that's at gmail.com. Or if you prefer, give us a phone call. We would love to hear from you, 413-612-8037.
The moment you've been waiting for is finally here. Yes, true or false headlines.
All right, this is how this works. I'm going to read you whose this is coming from first. I almost skipped our sponsor. All right, True or False Headlines is being sponsored by the Ludlow Lions Club. Do you want to help those in need in your neighborhood? Volunteer to help today by visiting ludlowlions.org or give them a call at 754-900-ROAR. That's 754-900-ROAR. All right, how this works is I'm going to read you two headlines. One is true, one is false. It's up to you and the audience to determine which is which. All right, Sonny, first one is donut eating champ robs donut shop, or donuts filled with heroin seized at airport.
The second one
Is
true.
Donut eating champ robs donut shop.
Oh my
It's
God!
true.
Really?
North Carolina man, 27-year-old Bradley Hardison, was arrested after he won the donut eating contest at the Elizabeth City Police Department's National Night Out Against Crime event. Police in Elizabeth City said Hardison, who became the champ by eating 8 glazed donuts in under 2 minutes. I could do that in a minute. Eight glazed donuts in 2 minutes. I could do that in a minute. Those are soft. I could shove those in there. I'd be done in a minute. I would be the champ. Anyways, he's been
Shove right up your rectum.
No, that's where they come out. He's been charged with offenses including felony breaking and entering and felony safe cracking in connection with a burglary at Dunkin' Donuts. Can you believe it?
What's a
Dunkin'
burglary?
Donuts.
What's a burglary?
Burglary.
A burglary.
Did I say burglary?
You said burglary.
Burglary? Burglary at Dunkin' Donuts in November. It's not clear whether Hardison helped himself to any donuts during the alleged crime. All right, the next one is cabbie flees police topping out at 200 miles an hour, or suspect took a cab to rob a bank.
Suspect took a cab to rob a bank is true.
You are correct. That is true. Police in West Virginia say a suspected bank robber was captured after taking a cab to the heist. How dumb can you be? It's like that commercial. Have you seen that commercial? I think it's for Southwest Airlines want to get away or something. There's this guy. He's in a businessman in a suit, and he steps into like a Lexus or something in the back seat, and he goes, "Yes, I think you have the address." And the guy in the front seat turns around and looks at him, and then two guys wearing stockings over their face come into the back seat, and they look at each other, and they go, "I thought we said no hostages." And then, poof, the die explodes. Yeah, it's like that. What a freaking moron. Media outlets report 25-year-old Ryan Michael Stepanian was arrested in Monday's robbery of a Charlestown bank and another bank heist Friday in nearby Ransom. Cab driver George Lyon says he took Stepanian from an apartment complex to the Charlestown Bank for what he said we thought was a routine matter. Afterwards, Lyon dropped him off at the park. Lyon said he then recognized his photo on social media and phoned the police immediately. Stepanian was later arrested. Charlestown police said in news releases that he had an undisclosed amount of cash and a bank robbery note. Stepanian is being held on 2 counts of bank robbery. How stupid can you get to call a cab to rob a bank?
I know somebody stupid in Texas.
But did they call... I'm sure there's lots of stupid people in Texas, but did they call a cab to rob a bank? I mean, come on. That's like you must have seen this on television, the world's dumbest criminals. You know, I just don't get it. I do not get it. All right. All right, is your pool looking like your future? A little murky? Then let No Worries For You, professional pool service, handle all your pool needs. Serving Orange, Osceola, and Polk counties. Clear your mind by clearing your pool. Give them a call today at 407-953-7926. Like those special effects we spent on that? Phew. Sonny and I will volley movie sound clips at each other in an attempt to stump one another and win food. We'll have 3 attempts to do this with 1 pass and 1 clue option. At the end of every month, the loser of this game will buy the winner lunch as well as a lucky listener. At the end of the year, we'll do the same, but for dinner. And you can play along by entering our contest at fountainofthought.com, and you too could win a lunch or dinner gift card. For details and registration, once again, please visit our website at fountainofthought.com. All right, for the month, Sonny, we stand at you have 1, I have 0. And for the year, I have 2 wins, you have 1. All right.
All right, I'll go first this time, fat boy.
Okay, thanks.
Science fiction.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Clue, please.
Science fiction.
Better clue, please.
Kind of like Alien Nation, sort of.
Repeat the clue, please.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm going to go with Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon? What the hell? What the heck? That's just ridiculous. They Live.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Here is your first one. Comedy.
This is Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes?
漫画に出る有名な言葉です。わかると思いますが、いつもテレビに出るんです。That's all, folks.
What the? Play that again?
This is Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes?
漫画に出る有名な言葉です。わかると思いますが、いつもテレビに出るんです。That's all, folks.
I know this too, and
I know you know it.
Oh, no more. No more Yankee, my wanky.
Come on, stop.
Oh, no more Yankee, my wanky. The donga need food.
I need a clue.
You need a clue. It's a comedy from the 80s, and it was about... Oh, God, how do I give you a clue that doesn't give it away? That the donger is in it. That whatever you just played,
yeah,
That guy is in it. He stars in this. You're going to kick yourself when you hear the answer.
It's not Revenge of the Nerds. It's, I don't know.
Gung Ho.
Oh, yes. With Michael Keaton, yes, that's right.
Yep. All right. My next clue, please.
Comedy.
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Oh, God. I know this one, too. Play it again, please. And
I refuse to.
I know this movie.
I refuse to play it again.
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
Get off your Google.
Not Google. When they stayed after school in detention.
Too late.
Wait a minute. No, the bell went off. No. No, I can't think of the title of the movie.
Breakfast Club.
Oh, damn it. I knew that, too. Fudge.
And he's only saying that for you, Mom.
God. All right, here's your next one.
Because you know what I'd say, Mom.
Comedy.
At first they tell me to lose the stutter. Now they tell me I'm not funny. It's a pain in the butt being politically correct.
You're telling me.
What kind of performance do you call that? You made me sound like a total space cadet, man.
I'm sorry you feel the way. I was trying to be real to your character.
If you like goof on me in the sequel, I'm coming after you.
Yeah, and I'll give you a Scooby smack.
Clue, please.
It's a comedy movie. It stars live action and animation.
At first they tell me to lose the stutter.
Space Jam?
Now they tell me I'm not funny. It's a pain in the butt being politically correct.
Looney Tunes, back in action.
I didn't even remember that even coming out.
Well, get it? I got a theme going here. The first one was Looney Tunes, and this one is Looney Tunes. You know, come on. I'm trying to help you out here.
You're a loony, all right.
All right. Give me my last clue, please.
Comedy.
License and registration? Chicken fucker?
I can't remember the Troopers is in the title. They're making a sequel. Play it one more time for me, please, so I can milk it and try to think of it.
License and registration? Chicken fucker?
Oh my God, I'm so bad at movies that I know, and I can't come up with a friggin' title. God, Super Troopers. Whew, pulled that one out, huh? Woo! All right, here is your last one.
You ignorant, disgusting blob!
You're nothing but an unstable short-chain molecule!
You foul, obnoxious moth!
You have a weak electrochemical bond!
I have seen some disgusting crud in my time, but you take the cake!
Clue? No, pass.
Pass. It was Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
All right, here is your last one. Comedy.
I said I don't care if they lay me off either, because I told Bill that if they move my desk one more time, then
shit!
I'm going to quit. And
how's it feel now, huh?
Because they've moved my desk 4 times already this year, and I used to be over by the window, and I could see the squirrels, and they were married.
Oh, God.
But then they switched.
You're out of everything, just like me.
And I can see.
I know.
I can see the DVD cover. Play it again so I can melt it.
I don't care if they lay me off either, because I told Bill that if they move my desk one more time, then I'm quitting. I'm going to quit. And I told Dom too, because they've moved my desk 4 times already this year, and I used to be over by the window, and I could see the squirrels, and they were married, but then they switched.
He likes the Schwinline stapler.
Oh, I know, the goddamn red stapler. Oh, shit. I give up.
Office Space.
Yeah, that's it, son of a bitch. yellow covered DVD case.
All right, I get one for the week. You have 0.
It's time to dig deep. That only means one thing. It's time for questions from my side.
All right, this is being sponsored by Mr. Bill's Boot and Shoe Repair in Pantego, Texas. Tell Mr. Bill you heard this ad and receive a 20% discount on any shoe repair. Find them online at MrBills.net where they'll save your soul
and gladly die for you.
All right, how this works is you, the audience, send in your questions. It can be anything and everything, and each week we will randomly select 3 questions to read live on the air. And the first question is, what's been the biggest surprise in your life? I don't know. I really don't have too many surprises in my life, I suppose. You just thought of something, did you?
Yeah. Every guy's surprised that one day you rub it in and something comes out. That's the biggest surprise in any guy's life.
Really?
You don't think so?
I was going to say winning $100 in the money wheel, but
no. All of a sudden you find out this has a purpose.
Okay. All right. Well, then that. Let's see. Next one is, what's your greatest fear? Finding out that something doesn't come out?
That it doesn't work anymore. Oh, God, I'm sorry. That just struck me so funny.
I can see that, yeah. My greatest fear, believe it or not, is dying, but it's not dying, it's how I die. I don't want it to be a painful death. That's my greatest fear. Hey, if it happens, it happens.
I agree, but I don't want to lay in a bed dying of cancer.
Yeah, I don't want it to be one of those.
I'd rather be just a heart attack and boom, dead. Or see you later.
Like I see, having a mental capacity but no physical, that I can't do something, or that something like that. That's my biggest fear, I guess. Well, that's depressing. All right, last question is,
why don't these people put their names on these questions? I'd like to call them up and say, what's on your mind?
I don't think they would ask some of the questions then, but I have their emails, so some of them do Facebook. But will you take the Tide Pod challenge? Absolutely not, you freaking a-hole. What are you, a moron?
What is a Tide Pod?
Oh my God, you don't know the Tide? Where have you been? You're in your little bubble? Tide Pod challenge. You know how you always do these stupid things, like last year it was swallow a tablespoon of cinnamon. Well, this year it's eat a Tide Pod challenge. It's going around all the high schools. Those Tide Pods you put in your dishwasher to wash your dishes, or to put in the soap to go in your washing machine, they're eating them, and they're dying. They're actually killing themselves. They're morons.
Well, it's the same as those people, all those kids who were shoving beer bottles up their ass and drinking it that way, so where they get drunk faster.
Yeah. That's the new craze. That's the Tide Pod challenge.
Well, that's the mentality of what our future of the people are going to be taking care of us in rest homes.
Yeah.
Which goes back to question 2. Let's die first.
Sonny's pet peeve
of the week.
What's annoying you this week? Or should I say, who is annoying you this week?
Nobody in particular.
Okay.
It's just people in general who can't change the toilet paper when it runs out.
You mean in the house?
Yeah, you go to sit down and take a crap, and all of a sudden you look over and there's no toilet paper. And then what are you supposed to do?
Well, that's like everything. The last of everything. They always do. No one ever does it. But
that's
why you leave the extra rolls in reach. So if somebody does that, you can just open a drawer or a cabinet and get to it easily.
Yeah, well, that's not in my house.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that your mother never changes the toilet roll? Is that what you're saying?
No, it just always seems like when I have to go to the bathroom,
there's none there.
There's no toilet paper there, and I have to sit there, and then I have to decide: do I run over to the shelf, which is in the hallway?
See, when you
risk dripping all over the floor.
Oh. See, when you go once a week like me, it's not that much of a problem.
Once a week? So when I tell you you're full of shit,
I really am full of it. Yeah.
Oh my God, that must be just a
giant. It's giant. I make sure I take a nice healthy dump before I go to the doctor's. He goes, "Oh, you've lost weight." I go, "If you only knew." Any final thoughts?
After that, what the hell could I possibly come up with?
All right, that's going to do it for us. Leave your opinion or thoughts and let us know how you really hate this show on our listener line at 413-612-8037, reminding everyone to subscribe to our podcast via your favorite listening preference. We are everywhere now. By the way, we are now on Alexa. So Alexa, just say Find Fountain of Thought Podcast, and Alexa will play it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I got a little song, a little ditty to play for everybody.
A little ditty before we leave?
Yeah.
A final ditty.
A little ditty.
A little ditty.
Yeah.
Dilly dilly the ditty.
Yes, here we go.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
Thank you for sharing that. That made my day. Don't forget to visit our website, everyone, fountainofthought.com, for contests and so much, much more. And remember, everyone, be a fountain, not a drain.
Okay, Takashi, what do you got?
Well, I think I have a frush.
What the fuck is a frush?
Frush?
Oh, well, see, I got 2 sevens, and 2 sevens beats a frush.
I'll have to take this abuse much longer.
Resistance is futile.
Ollie?
Let's go, Ray!
Thanks, Ollie.
You can't handle the truth.
Can't award.
Oh, that is unlucky.
The traffic.
I can't read that.
The boss.
I can't read that.
Baby. The dog. That does it. Oh, God, take me away.
Lose your cares in the luxury of a Calgon bath. Calgon softens the water to leave skin feeling silky smooth as it lifts your spirits. The soft, luxurious, fragrant world of Calgon.
I love it.
Pamper yourself with a Calgon bath. Lose yourself in luxury.